Hey guys, it's Damien from Marketing Food Online. I almost forgot my name there for a second. Okay, so this video is actually going to discuss the Oregon home-based food business, cottage food business. If you live in Oregon, you've got a great advantage because there are a limitless amount of sales. There's no sales limit in the state of Oregon in regards to how much you can sell from your home. And the different places to actually sell your product is quite extensive. You guys have a huge variety of places that can sell your product. So I've made a few notations. I'm looking down just really quick, and then I'll recap with you. I made some notations about what you can and can't do there in the state of Oregon. Some of the licenses that you'll have to have. There are two types. It is the type 11 and the type 16 it is called. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Whenever I do my videos, I'm actually in our bakery, and it normally is a quite busy entity. So anyways, okay, so the type 11 and type 16 is the two different types of licenses. The pricing for the two is roughly a little bit over about $150 for the type 11, and that is if you wanted to make specifically baked goods, if you wanted to do cookies and such. There's a different type of license, which is the type 16. And that one is about $190, I believe it is, about $190 to $200. And the funny thing is that license actually overlaps. So if you wanted to make anything above and beyond baked goods, such as jams or jellies or salsas and different types of things like that, what you would have to do is apply for that license. But that one allows you to make baked goods as well as any additional food products. Of course, you remember you can't make anything that's potentially hazardous as far as ingredients when it comes to like meat, or if it has anything raw meats, or if it's got cheeses and things that are time or temperature sensitive. Those are not still allowed in cottage food businesses. But if you got a commercial kitchen, and of course you're licensed as a commercial kitchen, you can produce whatever you want and sell wherever you want. Now, with that being said, keep in mind all the information I'm going to give you about the Oregon cottage food business. From time to time, the legislation and the laws do change. So what I'm going to give you is a basic rundown of what you can do. And then in the description, I'll give you guys some links directly to where you want to be as far as looking directly on the Department of Agriculture, the State of Oregon agricultural page. And that'll give you some much more specifics and most updated information. But trust me, the bulk of what I'm going to tell you is pretty accurate, and it's going to give you updated information. So with that being said, let's get started. So the two different types of licenses, like I said, around 150 to 200 bucks. Okay. Now, keep in mind, better processing control school training. So if you are doing a certain type of acidified foods, pickles, olives, those types of things, anything with acids that are in them, you need to be trained on that. But it's not, to be honest with you, it's not rocket science. It's just a basic course that's going to explain to you the necessity and the reason for that is to make sure that there's no bacteria, there's nothing that develops within acidified foods, which has a tendency to be a little more bacterially, could create a lot of bacteria if it's not done properly, okay? So if you are on a private well or a private sewer system, they will come out and check that and test it. They check the wells, of course, if you're on a private water system, to make sure that the water is obviously clean that's going into your home where you're going to be cleaning with or cooking with. They want to make sure that all of that water and such is going to be clean and up to standards, okay? If you're on city water, that's different because the city is in charge of the water system and the water that comes through your home. So that is not something you necessarily have to test, but for, I have had before, we had inspections, we're on a city water, I'm not on that type of thing. But on our facility, our commercial facility, we just go by what the city tells us. So now, you're probably asking, what can you make and what can't you make? Okay, so the different type of allowed foods when it comes to the Oregon State cottage food business is quite extensive compared to a lot of other states. Just to give you a quick rundown, you can do chocolates, buttercream frostings, cotton candies, ground chocolate, fudge, condiments such as oils or ketchups or mustards, if you want to make flavored mustards, whatever it is that your niche is, or whatever type of food product that it is, these are the types of things that you can do. Nut butters and salsas and vinegars. Dry goods such as herbs, mixes, seasonings, those are also allowed, and that list is actually quite extensive. And again, with the information I'll put in the description down below, that will give you some links, and then you can see the entire list. I just jotted down a handful of information to give you on this video, but of course I don't want to talk to you for an hour and a half about all of the different products, but it is quite extensive. Pastas, dried veggies, cereals, baked goods. They have a huge amount of stuff when it comes to that. Now keep in mind, bagels, brownies, donuts, cookies, of course, breads and biscuits and rolls and scones, tortillas, as my memory recalls. There is literally a huge list. Now, where do you sell these types of things? That's obviously the question that you need to know. The venues that you can sell them at are farmers markets, restaurants, retail stores, roadside stands. You can even do business online. Whether or not they've updated that since about 2015, between 2015 and 2016, making sales online. This is another reason why I urge you guys to, if you have a home-based business, not every state allows you to sell through the internet, okay? But if you sold a product on a website that you have in the state and you deliver it, okay, the delivery itself has to be done by you. That's a lot of states work that way. There are a few states that you can actually sell online, and from selling online, you can actually ship that to the customer. There's a very few states that do that, but there are some. Oregon, again, is one that you can do online as well through the mail order. And again, I'll put more links down below. You can investigate that website and check that out and see what they allow you to do as far as that's concerned. Now, one thing I do remember that came to mind when I had asked about questions about Oregon is a catering business. If you're operating a catering business from home, that is something that's not allowed as of yet. You would want to get a commercial kitchen and allow yourself to get a facility to produce that in a separate facility that is licensed and insured and all that good stuff. But when you're doing it from home, catering is not something that they allow, because most of the time, and I think this is the reasoning for it, is that catering businesses utilize food such as chicken and beef and shrimp and seafood. You know, when you're doing an event and you're not necessarily doing baked goods or cookies and that type of thing, those types of foods, you have to have a very good understanding about time and temperature sensitive ingredients and how that has to be kept up to a certain type of temperature to prevent spoilage or anybody getting sick. So catering is a different type of business that traditionally is not allowed to be done through the home, okay? Now, if you are doing this, of course, with that huge list of products, popcorns and all of these snacks and candies and baked goods, fairs, festivals, and farmers markets, okay? Fairs, festivals, the 3 Fs, okay? All of those are great venues, and they're allowed for by many states. When you're doing a cottage kitchen business, that you can take the product, prepare it, it has to be packaged, and normally this runs throughout every state, is that it has to be individually packaged so it could be consumed on an individual basis. So the idea of bringing a big old bowl of like mixed nuts and scooping it up and putting it into a bag and preparing it, traditionally, if you're under a cottage food law and you're under that type of licensing, it has to be pre-packaged and brought to the event, and then that way the customer or the person buying it, of course, can consume it on that individual basis. So a lot of times, because if you don't do it that way and you're not under a cottage food business, you would technically be under some type of either catering or a vendor food licensing situation, which would be to prepare it within like a food truck, or if you're preparing it on site. And those are different types of licenses that are not related to a home business, okay? Now, how much can you sell? Well, the one great thing about Oregon is that they do not have a limit, which is fantastic. So you could potentially be selling $100,000 a year through your Oregon home-based home-based cottage food business right out of your home. And to be honest with you, $100,000 a year, even if you did this part-time, I always recommend to a lot of my clients and a lot of the people that I consult with, and they ask about that, is that starting from home is great because you don't have to jump into investing into a retail store. You don't have to jump into investing in something like a food truck, which could run you easily $100,000 or more. Starting from home and selling locally gives you an idea of the business of food, okay, and how it works on a small scale. And then from there, building it up into something that's much bigger than just selling it from home. So that was another reason why I always tell my clients to create a website or have me create the website for you. And that way, creating a website, even with a cottage food business, it allows you the opportunity to look much more professional, okay? You create a website that's online, you have an online presence, and then as that business grows from a home business into a commercial business, you simply can transition right into selling online because you already have your website up, okay? So there's two good reasons right there why you should have a website. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet to the point. So that information is super basic information about Oregon State cottage food business. And then again, I'll put the necessary links down below, and all of those links are going to direct you to their website directly. So that'll help eliminate you trying to figure out where do I go. And you can just click on those links. It will help you out and show you greatly the amount of information and the types of information that you'll need to know. So thank you guys. Hey, if this video was helpful, as always, I appreciate the support that you guys give me with the positive feedback, so I know that I'm not just blabbing on for 20 minutes. So if you can give me a big thumbs up, I appreciate that. And if you know anybody who can benefit from my videos, I certainly appreciate that. You can send them my videos or share the link. You can even email them the link. And if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe, because we've got over 300 plus videos and a lot of information about all types of food businesses. Most of that comes from experience from myself. So thank you guys.